where we are. Digital fiber has been installed, and we are hoping that flow will shortly be done. And there's an agricultural program I want to just highlight a little, because those of us who are my age or older, or maybe some younger, some of us in here came out of the agricultural sector, where our parents will give you sheep and goat and different animals to mine. They'll give you a little plot to plant for yourself. And those things developed us to who we are today. And that agricultural program is doing some of that. It's teaching the students to appreciate work and work with their hands. It's also teaching them entrepreneurial skills, that yes, there's nothing wrong with agriculture. You can make a living from it. You just have to go high-tech. This modern time, we don't have to be out there with the hoe like me, still with me hoe. I have to go put a searchlight on it, but, now you have all kind of greenhouse facilities. You can turn on. Some places so high-tech. You just wake up and you switch, do a switch. Water comes on, everything is done. And our students have to understand they can move towards that. So those are some of the things that we are trying to invest in our youngsters, because that's what the theme of this budget is. Madam Speaker, also going forward, we will have beautification of the school compound to include signage. And there's one thing that struck me when I saw the report, that we need to build a tuck shop. It's a little shop that sells things, especially, I remember from my day in school, they had one even back then. But it was normally for your breaks and so. But this tuck shop here is so important, because a lot of children seemingly are coming to school without having eaten breakfast. And so the tuck shop provides that service. It would be good if parents could get these children out of bed early enough. Make sure that they eat. Some of us had to get up at 5 o'clock to catch school bus, bathe and get everything ready, and sometimes look for sheep and goat before you go to catch school bus. So we have to start training the children to get up early, rise early, go to sleep early, rise early, so that they can have breakfast, a proper breakfast for those. And there's, of course, at the school, there's some assistance if needed for that as well. But the tuck shop is for people who really just come and they haven't eaten, so they'll come and buy. So that is going forward. The national curriculum will be completed. And now there's this thing about discipline in schools. Much has been said about it. And we see a few fights, and organized fights, and televised, and social media-wise, and so. It is not that we didn't have fights in our day, but we didn't organize them so well, and locking rooms and all kinds of things. The thing is that discipline in school is all our business. It's not only for the school and the teachers. I expect teachers to recognize that they must do more than just teaching the subject. There must be some care and concern for the children. And teachers must take charge of their classes. I know there are all kinds of rights around for children, but we need to have that children look up to teachers once again. But parents, you must do your part at home. I watch all the time when we see children and with their parents, and they are left to go astray and do whatever they like. And then when they reach school, we expect they're going to suddenly be well-behaved and curbed. We have to the Jews start training the child from the womb, more or less to when they're born. We need to start training our children. The simple things that sometimes, yes, they're children, they have energy, they'll play. But if you're in a function, you need to sort of curtail some of that freedom, just for the bit, so that they understand there'll come a time when you will be in a class with others and you will need to settle down. We need to start training our children so that parents have, and the general society. There's always that saying we like to use, that a village trains a child. But it doesn't really stand holy anymore, because if you dare to talk to some children, the parents may come for you. So I'm saying it's all of our business. And the professionals, civil society. The other day, I think they suspended a few children. Next thing, you get lawyer's letter. What are we telling the children? And then we are making this big hullabaloo that we need to have discipline in school. When the first thing they think they could take you to court, because they have rights and all that. And we are going to behave as if it's the school's fault and the teacher's fault. It starts at the home and civil society. We encourage these behaviors, and then, so we need, as a grouping, to work together. Parents, do your part. The school will do their part. The ministry will do their part. All of us, and the lawyers must do their part too. But when children come and they are wrong, talk to them. Some years ago, we passed an ethic for lawyers in here. We said that if somebody come and you know they're wrong, you counsel them and so. It doesn't seem that that applies anymore, but it's still on the books. Those things need to go on. Now, Madam Speaker, we're still doing training for the teachers as needs be. And then we move on from the secondary school to the library. Knowledge is power. Reading is the gateway to this knowledge. We need to encourage our children to read books, even if they read them on the tablets that they have now, because we are high-tech. But read, read, read. Teacher Edith always talking about that on a little program. We need to read. You may not, some of us may not grace the corridors of university. But if you read, those who did have nothing over you except a little paper to say that they were attended and did well. You have to read. And you continue to read until you die, because knowledge is still power. The library has assisted the Allegana Festival of the Word. They have a homework help program, which, you know, a retired teacher go in and help, and we want to commend them for that, so there's some help. Then they have your Bring Your Dad and Come program at the library, because we do believe that it takes two to make a child, so it's not only mothers to do everything. The father must be part of it. They have a summer reading program and all other different programs. And now they're designing, as they expand when the new building is over, develop, propose computer literacy program for the library. And it would also function as an internet cafe, because you need to make some money. Everybody's trying to put a little back. So you can come there and do your cafe, but you have to pay for it. You won't be free. Now, the Department of Community, Youth and Sports, we have the school leavers workshop and attachments. You had some 58 students, and I will leave some of this. I believe my able parliamentary secretary will get into a little more details in some of these areas. And then you have a number of programs on the day, but fundamentally they have Escape, and that deal with the basketball and netball, and those they had 63. That is last year, in retrospect. And then you have the apprenticeship programs, and that we have going on, that you have a number of people that were trained. Because remember this motto, the title for this thing is saying, invest in our future. And all this is part of the investment, these apprenticeship programs, and out of that you have people getting jobs and all of that. We contribute a lot to some of the athletes and sports as persons. I want to mention the cricketers, Baker, Kirby, Sullivan, Yearwood, Harrison, and White. They all got help to participate in England in the cricket league. Williams went to the Leeward Island training camp. Rodney and Men's to Haptoris College. And we also give money to a number of other associations. You have the cricket, basketball, motorsports, dominoes. Then you have community and civic groups. A number of those got help as well. Some of the clubs, national trusts, and that list goes on. So that we are putting money there to invest in developing the youth. Now we are looking forward to the revival of community empowerment. And I note in the report that they say we're looking at the gender desk, the disability desk, and so on and so forth. Now, Madam Speaker, the disability, we have heard much about it. And, Madam Speaker, the ministry will facilitate in assisting that grouping to be able to reach out to the regional organizations and international, so that we could get some funding that perhaps some people can even be employed by that group. But the ministry itself will not be taking over the role of that particular disability. The MAPS, what is called, Montserrat Association of People with Disabilities. We are seeking how we can facilitate and help. Because there are a lot of funds that sometimes out there where government themselves cannot get. But grouping, civil groups like these can in fact get, and we will just be facilitator in that. And that's go as far as we can. And of course, locally, whatever we could put into it as well will be dealt with. In the past, the multipurpose court, there were some repairs done to it. We are still looking at the cricket pitch. We started it again, and it's supposed to be grass sometime. It's a little better than it was about a year ago, but that is an ongoing work. The braids, basketball bleachers were redone, and the fencing were done, because we need to recognize that before complex, there was braids. And suddenly nobody seemed to be able to go to braids to play basketball. Yes, you might need some work on it, but we need to start doing things there again. And in netball, they're going to need a little resurfacing, and we're hoping that when a certain member of the cabinet would have received the hot mix plant and all that, we're going to look at those things there. And we're resurfacing, Madam Speaker. So we are looking at a number of things. The budget, I want to remind us that the budget remained flatline. The capital side, we see funding for several projects. And under that, we have $402,000 on the capital side. $402,300, which is a BNTF funded for the rehabilitation of Salem Primary School. And I understand that the financial review for that is now being done. So within this fiscal year, we expect that that would start, and it will provide jobs. Now there's a youth program also of $380,900 from, I think this is the EU, and that will finance the training in air conditioning, mechanic, plumbers, electricians, training heavy equipment, operations, etc. So that we are investing. So while that, there'll be a little stipend paid. So some people, you wouldn't have them on the road. So we are doing all that. So it's not just, so when we say there's nothing in the budget, there's some things in the budget. So I want to highlight them, that would be there. Now, L&M block. We've heard about it. And I've been talking about it. And every time I reach, just about ready, something snaps. The last one, all of a sudden, the consultant decided that the footing was not correct. When checked, the footing was correct. So we have to go back now and relook at the costing, because what they originally thought should be done needs not be done anymore. So now there's a letter out, I understand, to the contractor to revise his costing to come back to us. So that I hope to see within this fiscal space. And that would be, you're talking about $1,700,000. So, of course, there would be people getting jobs in that section. So there we are producing, even from our limited resources that we have in education, we will be creating some jobs for the general public. Now there's 804,000 from EU, and that will deal with the whole investing in our future. And so you'll have computer labs, I think I understand, 2 for the secondary school and 1 for the college, so that our children could be trained. Laptops for children will be part of that program, and teacher training and students and parents to use, because it's a digital transformation for that resilience. So forbid it that anything else should happen. We'll be in a better position as time goes on. Madam Speaker, I wanted to plug and thank the Permanent Secretary, the Director, and the other office staff, teachers, teachers' assistants, parents, cleaners, maids, clerical, everybody that work in the ministry, and the other ministries that aid us as well. And of course, UNICEF, OECS, EU, CDB, Carlton Archer, Loretta Greenaway, PTA, St. John's Daycare PTA, St. Augustine's, Kevin Showtime Lee, MNI Group, Bramble and Associate, Dites, FCDO, etc. I want to thank all of them for, in some way, while the budget sometimes is flatline, is these little funds that really keep us afloat. That brings me to health and social services. Health is wealth. The budget for them was $22,678,900 spent. Budget and spent was $21,668,517, which is 99.95% of the budget that was spent. And again, I want to reiterate that, like everybody else, we'd like to see some money, because we're still looking at CT scans and different things. So we'd like to see some more money. And we'll continue that argument to whoever will listen. All these organizations out there, the PAHO and WHO and OECS, name them. If they have money, we are going to seek to get some, whether to buy equipment or to help, as we see in the education section. Now, Madam Speaker, we have the ministry continue their outreach programs to cover mental health, counsel, workshop, grief counseling, caring for persons with mental issues. Some 27 students benefited from the summer SMILE program by the dental clinic. Some 67 school leavers engaged and learned at a workshop on health and wellness. Plans for the fiscal year will have some community action for revival and public awareness programs on radio, such as healthy children, raising healthy children, and of course the vaccine updates and all that. We continue to do that. In secondary care, we had commissioned the isolation ward in preparation, peradventure, anything happens. So, Madam Speaker, the budget, although it was flatlined since last year, is that all these services have been given. It's a service ministry. And therefore, when we present, it may not provide a lot of jobs, but the key is for your people. So the monies there are for that purpose. Then we acquire equipment, a hematology machine, and amongst other things. We repair the hospital roof, which was ongoing for a while. And with the supplies, vote was increased by some $250,000 to cover for medicines in that field. So there's some increase here and there. But remember, within the budget, you have to sometimes juggle figures around and use the money where you need it most. Social services, I understand there was some 25 cases of child abuse that were domestic violence, because we have to look at that social part of it and what happened. So those were taken, and some people, I think, even got incarcerated. So the ministry itself is working in that way, trying to safeguard your children and your women and all of that. The Child Justice Bill has been out, and that will come to the House eventually. Some work has been done on that, and we are consulting. Social protection. Well, there's an ongoing review of client status, which will continue, because you cannot, because somebody goes on, especially if they are not aged on the social welfare, there must be checks and balances when they can't go. You must try to help them come off, rather than sitting there for life. So that review is continuing. Some persons have been taken off already, and that will continue, because it is not meant to be a lifetime thing, except when you reach over the pension age and you can't help yourself, yes. But once you're within working age, we have to strive to see how best we can help you to be gainfully employed. So that is going on. Staff have been trained in conflict resolution, etc. There was some review on the supermarkets where monies were there, because one of the things they need, and we need to continue to do, is to ensure that monies that are put at these establishments, that the person are using those money, and not that they're amassing in somebody else's account meanwhile. So we are looking at those things as well. And there's some 260 increase in that social protection. But Madam Speaker, sometimes I listen to the radio and I always cry about nothing, and it's all, even in this house, to do more, do more. I never once you ever have a case where somebody comes and says, yes, they have done this. You see, social services to me is like a magical place. You know, you can go there for one thing and end up with others. You can go for a one-hour food package. And while in the discussions, they may realize that you need to get your electricity bill paid too. And that happens. But we don't hear about those things. So I want to highlight them. You can go for the same one package, they realize that your stove in your little top, tabletop stove is in bad condition. So they will look at how best to give you a stove. And they do all those things. You can go for rental assistance and end up getting your utility bills paid. You can go for eye care and end up getting dentures. All kind of things happen at this magical place they call social services. But we do not hear about all those things that are happening there. But what we want people to know, that all of this is happening. That government, and governments, not only this one, but government has been helping people to survive in this country. And those stories need to be told. Everything we do need to be told by those who are the recipients. Now, on environmental health, they had some 81 food and safety inspections. They continue to do their vector controls for the mosquito and all that. And some, during this whole pandemic, they were instrumental in assisting with the swabbing and the port health and the airport and all those things that they have been doing. So they too have been doing their piece, along with their regular job looking after the cemetery. And we are looking at the cemetery law as well, and the food and safety law will be looked at in this ensuing year. Now going forward in health, a project manager for the hospital should be in place by this month, sometime in this month. The signing of the contract for the detailed design of the hospital is expected to take place sometime in this month. The health information system contract has been signed so that all information will be digitalized. That is going on, and we are looking at revitalizing the visiting specialist program. And of course, I have a part here that I talk about fundraising for medical equipment. Because yes, we hand out to Britain because they have a responsibility. But we also can look. They have helping hands for Glendon who have been doing a good job. So far, they've been giving smaller items for the hospital. And I've challenged them to touch base with some of the Montserrat associates. Go for something big and maybe a CT scan. Because we are looking at that while we are asking our benefactors for these things. We have to be seeming to help ourselves. So we are looking at everywhere we see anybody that would be willing to listen and willing to help. We are helping. But of course, we expect that people, the general population, the diaspora, would help us. We have moved beyond just talking so that we can help ourselves to get some of these equipment. We're looking at a new hospital, and we expect it to be well equipped. And we start the battle of moving, asking our benefactors, the UK, for these things. But at the same time, we're looking at other sources, peradventure. Because we know how easy those things can get, and we see what position they're in, but we're going to continue to fight for those. Now, there are some staff anomalies both in education and health. And for years, it seems that there have been this new spend to regularize that, and we are continuing the pursuit of that. Because we need to get everybody in the government system, like and like, to be paid the same. So we have that to be dealt with, and other matters in that area. There are a lot of new spend that have been sent that we need to look at. And this flatline budget, as I said, a lot of things were not touched. But you have a year, because I like how the UK government does. They pass their budget, and as they go along, they have an autumn budget, maybe they have a summer one, but they have other things as we go along. And we too have to start looking, so other monies will come in from some of these sources. Other monies will come in from some of these sources. They could look as surprised as they want. Other monies could come in from these sources. But we have to look at what else. If some monies come available at some place, we should be able to beg and put in the budget. Because you have to bring it to this house before you get in the budget. So I'm only saying, Madam Speaker, that we will continue even after this budget is passed to see where there's UNICEF, EU, ECLAC, whoever they are, if they have funding available that we can use and they're willing to give us, we are willing to ask. All they could say, the worst thing could happen, they say no. But we're going to ask. And we can look, and if money is come available, and know, as I said earlier, who pays the piper call the tune. But if other money is happening and we get windfalls, we should be in a position to get our benefactors to allow us to use some of these monies to amend and correct some of the anomalies and the different things in the system. Now, hospital development in the capital side, I see 2.1 million there. I don't know if that will remain static, but that is for the detailed design. So that is not for building the hospital. I just want to make it clear in case somebody says. So it will provide job, but not necessarily for us on Ireland. It's to pay those who are going to design the hospital. But under the maintenance, even so, whatever little we have, some maintenance will sometimes you see little jobs, like fixing some repairs on the dental clinic, little repairs on the health center, the Oriole Villa. Some of these little things will provide small jobs for small people as well. So there's that in the budget as well. Madam Speaker, again, I want to thank this Permanent Secretary CMO, the staff, doctors, nurses, cleaners, cooks, technicians, orderlies, drivers, FCDO, PH England, I think this name something else now, I'm not too familiar with the new name. PAHO, OECS, WHO, Helping Hands to Glendon, and all those who help in any way, the ones that deal with the whole mammogram, that grouping, all the groupings that help in any way. to keep us healthy in this country. I want to say thank you to them. Madam Speaker, requesting funds, as I was talking earlier, from different organizations has become, in fact, a pastime in the ministries. At least in my two ministries, you have to seek, and everywhere you see a little money to ask. And we'll continue for equipment and all that. And I want to thank both the PSs and those in the grouping that are always seeking to find these extra monies, wherever by talking, and some of those monies coming eventually, so that we can continue the laptop programs and all the other things that we need to do. Madam Speaker, the literacy and the numeracy will continue to look forward to them. The OECS has not, there's nothing concretized yet, and UNICEF, but we're looking to have the OECS help us with testing for those special needs in our school, so that we at least, if we know where the problems are, we could better address them. Because sometimes we start addressing things and not sure exactly. And over the years, it's a hit and miss. So we are now looking at that, and one of the sources, though not confirmed yet, is looking at maybe giving him laptops for the younger children. And this is where we are going, Madam Speaker, with this budget. We are here to debate a budget flatline that is must, but I want to reiterate that when people say there's nothing in the budget, you have to ask your question. It's only called a budget because there's figures in it, forecast, money that you hope to get, and some money that you know you will get. So we want to continue down the road to understand that while we on this side understand the plight of our people, and we would want to do everything in our power to help and to assist, at the end of the day, Madam Speaker, we can only do as much as the monies we have affords us. And I believe that is where we are at, and we have done and will continue. Because when this budget speech, as I said earlier, is finished, and the budget is passed, we are not going to stay here. We're still going to be seeking where we can find and what can we do. One thing we know, that as far as is possible, we are looking to steer away from increasing any taxes, because we understand how it hurts. But if you have to do taxes, Madam Speaker, so be it. We have to start fending for ourselves. We like to talk, Madam Speaker, in this country about where the Britons have us, but we have to help ourselves and be willing. No country in this world, none, has managed to be where they are without sometimes banding and hurting a bit to get there. But we do not want to go there. So that is why the budget is flatline, and we're trying to maintain all the services that we have to ensure at least we have the best service we can afford at this given point in time. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, bro.
I recognize the Honorable Parliamentary Secretary.
If it pleases you, Madam Speaker, our Honorable Premier delivered his budget about a week ago, and he entitled it, Investing Today to Secure Our Future, Our Montserrat, Our People. Madam Speaker, the landscape has been painted already, So I will not go there about the international difficulties that have emerged with COVID, with the war, and all the other challenges. So I know today, Madam Speaker, my people are very concerned about where we are going to go with a budget that we call a flatline budget, and a budget which some considers offers very little. But Madam Speaker, we have boasted over the years that we are a people of resilience, that we are a people who believe in God. And we have also said, Madam Speaker, that together we can. And I know, Madam Speaker, that together we will. The Honourable Minister has already painted, Madam Speaker, what has been happening in the ministry. And please forgive me if I repeat some things. I will try not to. But to add a little more to what he has said. We have always known, Madam Speaker, that the wealth of this country lies in its people. And therefore, the Ministry of Education has sought to invest in our people, our teachers, our students, parents, the infrastructure, in order to secure our future. We have already heard in early childhood education that we are making steps. And as we are celebrating, Madam Speaker, this 70th year of parliamentary democracy, I just want to recall, Madam Speaker, that we're still continuing to build on the foundation that the Honourable P. Austin Bramble laid, even before many countries were considering early education. We have invested, Madam Speaker, with the University of the West Indies jointly in a program, a teacher education access program. And I'm pleased to report to this House that 83% of our teachers were successful. They are now eligible, Madam Speaker, to pursue an associate degree in early childhood education. Only one has so far deferred. Madam Speaker, we are investing in our people. Today, we are doing that, and we will do that tomorrow. We also want to give thanks, Madam Speaker, to the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB, who was overseen by the Basic Needs Trust Fund here in Montserrat, who has jointly worked with the Ministry of Education in making this a reality. Quite often, Madam Speaker, our children experience ill health and accidents at school, and therefore to equip the learning environment, making it safe, Madam Speaker, 31 participants completed their first aid training during the year 2021. Madam Speaker, we have also been working on our national curriculum, which will be rolled out. We have also, Madam Speaker, will be commencing our associate degree for our teachers in August. We look at renovating our Lookout Nursery and Daycare building, and raising the standards and regulations for early childhood care and development services. This is sponsored by the UNICEF. Madam Speaker, my Premier is committed to engaging with diaspora. And we want to thank those persons in the diaspora who have been working, Madam Speaker, with us. We have Mr. Carlton Archer and family, a Montserratian living in Florida. Ms. Loretta Gwinaway, another Montserratian, who is a director in the Department of Early Education and Care in Boston. During the fiscal year, Madam Speaker, donations of resources were received from those persons. UNICEF, Madam Speaker, played an enormous role in keeping our children safe. And we want to salute them and thank them for continuing the work with us in the donation of resources such as masks, digital thermometers, cleaning supplies, disinfectant wipes, hand sanitizers, alcohol, Madam Speaker, for all staff and children in all our centers in Montserrat, to the tune of $20,347.80. Madam Speaker, we must be held accountable when we spend international monies. Madam Speaker, I have just learned that CXC is moving to fully digital for exams. And I know the Honorable Minister, Dr. Samuel Joseph, will be telling this House what we are going to do to advance technology in this country, Madam Speaker, because it is his responsibility under ICT. However, again, Madam Speaker, our external agencies and Montserratians in the diaspora continue to support our children by providing tablets. We have Mr. Kevin Showtime Lee. Mr. Lee also gives resources and personal effects, Madam Speaker. And there's a Montserrat group that gives watches. Those, I believe, are also digital. In the primary education sector, we are determined, Madam Speaker, to strengthen literacy and numeracy. These form the foundation, Madam Speaker, for any child. Before, we would say you need your mathematics and your English. Madam Speaker, we have invested in what we call the New Salford Sentence Reading Test. And this was administered to all students from grade 1 to 6 in an effort to ascertain at this early stage the students' reading and comprehension levels so that provisions for intervention can take place. Early intervention, Madam Speaker, leads to remedial services that can help our children to advance. Madam Speaker, to further strengthen that, the National Spelling Bee was held among our primary schools. And we had champion spellers, Madam Speaker. And although we don't like to call names, I think, Madam Speaker, it should be recorded in the annals. Because I recall from scripture, Madam Speaker, when the king was troubled in the night and he said, bring the annals. And when he brought the annals, Madam Speaker, Mordecai was recorded as assistant, Madam Speaker. And as a result of that, Madam Speaker, Haman had to go on his own gallows. We are giving credit to whom credit is due. And so we want to salute our champion spellers, Inistia Mawson from Lookout. And Madam Speaker, I'm going to let the world know that that is the daughter of Mr. Bear Mawson. So she comes, Madam Speaker, from a good degree. I salute her parents and all the teachers who would have worked with her. We also have, Madam Speaker, our own Kai Kabi as well. And Madam Speaker, that's from St. Augustine Primary School. Miss Morrison is from Lookout. So we want to salute Lookout, Madam Speaker. We are also celebrating our children when we invest in them. Amen. A total of 58 students participated. Madam Speaker, we are giving our children an opportunity to perform publicly, to know what it is, Madam Speaker, to stand up and compete in front of others, to learn, Madam Speaker, how to handle pressure. We continue developing our literacy, Madam Speaker, by holding activities in reading. Several of us sitting here today, including the Honorable Paul Lewis, who is not paying attention, Madam Speaker. And I know teacher told him to pay attention when somebody's speaking and not to speak, Madam Speaker. But Madam Speaker, we had a good time that day together. Again, we are working together. We also had Dr. Skerritt on our bus, Madam Speaker, if I recall. And so we journeyed to the schools, we read for them, they spoke to us, we asked questions, they answered. And Madam Speaker, I had a fantastic time with the little ones. They were just out of this world in sharing in the stories, and I know we have some actors and actresses coming out of that, Madam Speaker. We have moved forward to procure the services of a literacy specialist consultant, again with the hope of achieving improvement in our low literacy levels of our students. They conducted creative writing, and that was during COVID period, Madam Speaker, to keep the children busy as we're strengthening them so that they're experiencing joy while learning. We also look at formal and informal lesson observations in the classroom, ensuring that teachers are addressing the curriculum standards and engage in best practices during the delivery of instruction. Primary teachers also were engaged in a rigorous training they called classroom and school-based responses for students with socio-emotional and behavioral support needs. This was conducted by our educational psychologists who have since left us, Ms. Smalling and Dr. Bamiselli, and I want to thank them, Madam Speaker, for their contribution in assisting us. The emotional and psychological needs of our children must be met. If these are not dealt with, Madam Speaker, we will have serious problems in our relationships, in our community, Madam Speaker. And so, although it's alone one teacher, we want to congratulate that teacher for successfully completing her certificate in counseling. We also, Madam Speaker, strengthening the virtual classroom, so easy steps to project approach was done for 2 other teachers. And you will hear later about our apprentices, but they too are making their contribution, Madam Speaker, in the early childhood course that they took and were successful. We cannot underestimate the importance of the special education needs teachers. We sought to get help from abroad, and we were unsuccessful. But at least, Madam Speaker, we continue to invest in our people, and we're seeking to grow our own. The national curriculum is to come, and that will take a day of its own to discuss with you. So at the moment, teachers are being exposed, and, Madam Speaker, must be saluted for the invaluable contribution that they are making in drafting the national curriculum. Some teachers are team leads for this very national curriculum, Madam Speaker. And the consultants, Madam Speaker, were procured in Trinidad, but our teachers are making their contribution, and Madam Speaker, for very little. peanuts, Madam Speaker, but they too are willing to make the sacrifice for investing in our children. So, Madam Speaker, when I ask the Honorable Minister of Finance and our worthy partners to look at salaries for our teachers, I don't hear any grumbling. I don't hear any belly aching and what is happening in other countries. We must invest in our teachers, and we must look after our teachers, Madam Speaker, because many of them work hard. I am not going to deny, because I tell it as it is. We may have some delinquents, but even to Madam Speaker, Jesus will help to resurrect. Clearly, Madam Speaker, the infrastructure must be looked after. And we have our plumbing, our carpentry, our electricals. What's his name again? Don't make him hear me. Our little brother there with the white car from Salem, who sing Calypso. He makes sure, Madam Speaker, that our plumbing is taken. Madam Speaker, they say his name is Wanza. Leroy Daly. Madam Speaker, he too must go down in the records for his invaluable contribution he is making. Every person that works in our education system is valuable to me and to this government and the people of Montserrat. Madam Speaker, we must face things. We cannot bury our head in the sand. Secondary school have been in the media, and not for very positive things. And we will deal with that. We will address it, Madam Speaker. But yet, Madam Speaker, all is not lost. As the Honourable Minister would have shared with us, some positive things are happening. Again, with partnership, we have wellness activities for staff and students. Staying well on the job is critical, and we must focus on that, Madam Speaker. And so hence, they had activities such as weight management, awareness training. Pastoral care teams were formed, Madam Speaker. And to bring some structure, heads of departments were also assigned. Madam Speaker, there is much, and it is serious, about gender relationship. And we do not wish to emasculate our boys. So they had separate assemblies, Madam Speaker, for sharing gender-related information. There are times where we need to speak to our boys alone, and there are times we need to speak to our girls alone, and there are times we bring them together. I want to encourage the men in the society. We have, Madam Speaker, our PRO, who is very active over there, and we salute him, and the other men who play their part, Madam Speaker, in ensuring, Madam Speaker, that our boys, Madam Speaker, grow into men that we are proud of, who will take care of their families, who will take care of their children, Madam Speaker. They also had a one-week wellness training for teachers conducted, Madam Speaker, by Her Excellency, Dr. Clarice Barnes, all right? Right Honorable Dr. Clarice Barnes, and we want to salute her and again congratulate her, Madam Speaker. An award well-deserved, long overdue. And still, Madam Speaker, she contributes. Madam Speaker, we will not go over our Heritage Day, but just to say, Madam Speaker, that Heroes Day was celebrated with the first national hero, the most excellent, William Henry Bramble, CBE, ONH, Madam Speaker. That was done, Madam Speaker, a mural on the wall by teacher Taboo. Again, Madam Speaker, the talent that he has, he's using it, Madam Speaker, to help the children grasp the appreciation of celebrating those who went before them, those who made it possible, Madam Speaker, for them to be where they are today. They also, Madam Speaker, featured a panel discussion at the museum for our second national hero, the most excellent Robert W. Griffith, OBE, ONH. Madam Speaker, our relationship with our partners and our stakeholders, it's important to foster, to nurture, and to strengthen. And so, they continue to host the radio program MSS, Embracing Quality Education, reaching out to parents and the wider MSS family. They've got their open days, the general PTA meetings, Madam Speaker, and PTA meeting by-year groups as well, so that there's a closer connection between the parents, the teachers, and the students. When the students get to school, they must know that their parents and their guardians are involved in what they are doing, and they can't just behave any old how and get away with it. Madam Speaker, as I speak about the boys, I also want to speak about the girls. And I want to salute, Madam Speaker, women of Montserrat bonding, whom we call WOOM, who partnered with our health department, led, Madam Speaker, under the excellent leadership of a young lady hailing from Codgerhead by the name of Petrina Thompson. Madam Speaker, I know the people next to me are saying it's their goddaughter, but it's quite okay. Madam Speaker, she met with myself and the Honorable Premier and Miss Deborah Lewis, our Commissioner and Ambassador, and we discussed, Madam Speaker, how herself and her ladies or women can contribute. And a number of ideas were raised. She went away and they came back, Madam Speaker, with the idea that they will engage our girls and provide sanitary napkins and other toiletries, Madam Speaker, for our girls. Again, Madam Speaker, building on what this government did the previous year, Madam Speaker, in duty reduction. Madam Speaker, we might not have much, but where God is, little is much. And where we have good people like Miss Petrina and her girls, and the team from health went in and shared other things that girls would need to know about. Madam Speaker, in a safe space, the boys were not there. So we are not being biased, Madam Speaker. We are ensuring, Madam Speaker, that when, like I said before, not to repeat myself, when we need to speak and deal with them alone, we do so in order to foster strong relationships between our boys and our girls. We cannot remain in history, Madam Speaker, and move on now to speak of gender in a divisive way. Our boys are not going to change unless we educate them, unless we help them. And the same thing, Madam Speaker, obtains for our men. Madam Speaker, we have made some steps in improving the space at MSS through the staff room completion. But, Madam Speaker, regrettably, our L and M block, long overdue, is still unfinished, but we will continue the work on that. I wish to apologize on behalf of this government to our teachers, our students, and our parents for the inconvenience that we have caused. Madam Speaker, it matters not whose fault it is. When you are ahead, of an institution, you must take responsibility. As I said before, Madam Speaker, I will not say much about exams except to let parents know that going forward, we're going to be having e-testing online, and that will start, Madam Speaker, from what I heard, in May, June 2023 for all papers. The Minister of Finance will correct me. I want parents to know that computers and other such equipment for education, that duty is reduced on that. And as Minister has already indicated, we will see what we can do, Madam Speaker, in providing our children who are in need with laptops or tablets, whatever is needed, Madam Speaker, to assist them in doing well online. Because, Madam Speaker, although they're playing around with their gadgets, I am now learning that many of them do not know the keyboard. I was really taken aback. So, Madam Speaker, I also know that their finer motor skills have to be developed, and one parent was really at his wit's end because his child is not writing the way he should. But I told the parent, the way things are going, he will not need to be doing any handwriting things in a short while, and it's already coming to pass. So, Madam Speaker, as you have seen, we are invested now, Madam Speaker, in order to secure our future, our people, and our Montserrat. If you'll please permit me, Madam Speaker, to continue and just give a little bit more on what Minister have said with respect to the public library. Knowledge is power. And so, Madam Speaker, the Montserrat Public Library continues to undergird the work of the schools to strengthen the core, the foundation of our education system in literacy and numeracy. They are also tasked, Madam Speaker, with the preservation of culture and access to lifelong learning for the people of Montserrat and beyond. And they, Madam Speaker, have adopted their motto, a library and information system that shapes the future. These developments, Madam Speaker, have been achieved through various programs, and we are committed to supporting them. COVID did affect them like it did all of us, Madam Speaker, and they're now seeking new ways for programming and delivery of the services, trying to ensure that they can utilize online platforms, as everything is at the click of a button these days. So we can view them on social media. They propose, Madam Speaker, to continue developing on this summer reading program. They had the Aliogana Festival of Word, and I know they will continue that. We've heard of the Homework Club, Madam Speaker, and Bring Your Dad and Come program. They're determined, Madam Speaker, to invest in our children, and so they create a space to read and reinforce curricula from early childhood to adult. There are approximately 25 primary school children, Madam Speaker, involved in the Homework Club, and that is facilitated by Mrs. Desney Edgecombe. She finds time with a busy life, her family, and work to give back. Together we can, and together we will. They help, Madam Speaker, the students to grasp difficult concepts that may have evaded them while in the classroom. We are committed, Madam Speaker, and I've requested I will do so through the minister, Madam Speaker, that this program be extended to the other communities if we are going to go forward. And so, Madam Speaker, I look forward to the building of the National Literacy Program on the island of Montserrat, spearheaded by our own librarian and her staff. We collaborate, Madam Speaker, to mitigate and eliminate so that we can celebrate. We move forward again, celebrating our families, building our families. It's a holistic approach. So we had your Bring Your Dad campaign. Again, Madam Speaker, I heard the unworthy young man was there involved in that, Madam Speaker. He's looking at me, so I'm not going to call his name. He's a tall young man and strapping young man, Madam Speaker. And so this is to help fathers develop their interest in reading. And as I said before, strengthen the relationship between fathers and their children. Strengthen, Madam Speaker, the family, which is the cell of any community. As we said, we're celebrating collaboration, Madam Speaker, with the Alagana Festival of the Word and the Ministry of Education to further buttress our student development and literacy. And so, all the works created were by the students and the teachers. This was through local primary school. We're also celebrating our writers under the theme, Write Montserrat. And this was a literary retrospective of our island's authors. We have a lot, you know, Madam Speaker, a lot. And so during the Alagana Festival of the Word, a number of books by Montserratian writers were exhibited. And the library has a large collection of material by local authors, historical as well. And we're encouraging our public to explore and utilize these, both for research and relaxation. Towards the future, investing now to secure our people and our Montserrat, an eye on the country, forward we are marching. For future developments will take place in the public-private collaboration to expand the physical space and programming of the library by increasing the size of the children's library, improve spaces for individual and group study, a very critical aspect, Madam Speaker, for students to adopt. It teaches them to work as a team. More resources will also be available for teachers and students. Madam Speaker, this government has continued the textbook program with the Montserrat Secondary School, started under the PDM administration, Madam Speaker. And so what is going to happen, the textbooks, Madam Speaker, will be placed in the library to facilitate students who may need them when they're there. But Madam Speaker, we're not leaving anyone behind. So those persons who are getting a second opportunity at continuing their learning will find these textbooks in the library and can utilize them. It should be noted, Madam Speaker, that we are in the process for the acquisition of these textbooks. And if the textbooks are not there, Madam Speaker, don't blame me. Madam Speaker, we are committed to developing and supporting our people. And so, Minister, I've already said that there's the proposed computer literacy program and the internet cafe and a training venue. Madam Speaker, these days, you have to protect your historical material. And many of these are in danger of deterioration. So, Madam Speaker, this is going to lead to the establishment of an island-wide archival service that will benefit the cultural and economic development of Montserrat. And Madam Speaker, as I'm on that note of historical documents, and these are not only historical, these are serious documents. My heart pains me, Madam Speaker, when I go to the registrar's office and see the condition of our birth, death, and marriage records. Madam Speaker, I'm not blowing my trumpet, but at the time I served as registrar, we had a digitization program. Everything was on the system. I summoned a man here from Tortola and told him he's not getting 1 red cent unless he comes to Montserrat and finish our project. I'm giving credit to whom credit is due. That program was started by Miss Sonia Young from St. Vincent, who served before me as the registrar. To my dismay, I got back to get somebody telling me to come back a couple days for birth certificate because it has to be written. Madam Speaker, I left a system ready to print. I will say no more on that matter, except to say, Madam Speaker, urgently required monies to get that system in place, because if 1 digit falls off from a birth record or 1 letter, Madam Speaker, that person is in serious problem with their identity. And this is not a joke. So the Honorable Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. Sammy, and I know that the Honorable Deputy Governor will also be on board in advancing that. Madam Speaker, I believe in giving credit to whom credit is due. So, that much being said, we continue on the journey of commitment, of investing in our people, our future, to secure our Montserrat by providing a learning platform from which they can learn or pivot. Madam Speaker, as we move towards the future, as I said, I'm giving credit to whom credit is due. And many persons may not know, but our civil servants have access to a variety of courses. This government has provided financial assistance, time off for study, Madam Speaker. We have increased, Madam Speaker, the monies given to persons who decide that they want, Madam Speaker, to invest in themselves. Madam Speaker, please allow me. 100,000 plus for in-service training. For ministry and departments, Madam Speaker, 130,000 approximately. For scholarships, Madam Speaker, almost $1.9 million. For mandatory, we have 150,000. And as I said, Madam Speaker, we gave financial assistance, approximately another 150,000. For professional qualifications, approximately 300,000, Madam Speaker. I'm rounding off some of these figures. And our island scholarship, we award nearly 160,000 or thereabouts. Madam Speaker, that is nearly $2.9 million investing in our people now, Madam Speaker, and as far as I know, I did not hear that that would be cut, although it's a flatline budget. But, Madam Speaker, we know, as ministers say, you have to cut your suit to meet the cloth that you have. Madam Speaker, as we move on, the journey continues with investing in our youth. We are committed, Madam Speaker, as we have said before, to empower our youth. And so, we continue to build on our school leavers workshop with the attachments. And so, we hold some workshops with them before they go into the workplace, and they're taught deportment, sexual health, interview preparation, money management, a critical aspect, career planning, and writing or drafting their CVs. We have moved up, Madam Speaker, where they're getting introduction into business. Keep it simple. We always talk about entrepreneurship, but we know about business, Madam Speaker, and how to manage stress, which is a killer. 58 students, Madam Speaker, following those workshops, were placed in career interest areas. We had them in architecture, engineering, mechanics, power station, access at ports. We had 12, that was 21. We have another 12 in the finance, banking, tourism, statistics, and ICT. And although small, we had 7 in agriculture, fisheries, and veterinary services. We'd like to see an increase in that since, Madam Speaker, we're determined to build our food security, especially in these times. 6 students showed an interest in psychology, lab, and hospital, and 5 students in the police and fire and the law, while 4 students education and sports. Madam Speaker, as we move them through to the apprenticeship program, Madam Speaker, just before I get there, talking about digitization again, we had 3 of those students attached at the land registry or the Ministry of Agriculture who are currently involved in digitizing the records. And that is a partnership, Madam Speaker, with UWI. I hope we can get that partnership for the registry. Madam Speaker, our program cost us $31,689 investing, Madam Speaker, in our children, our youths. Let me call them youths now, Madam Speaker, because they have left school. We will continue to fine-tune and add fundamentals, Madam Speaker, to assist them. Madam Speaker, we have 45 apprentices at current. This was a higher number than anticipated. We had budgeted for 40, but we're trying to do everything to keep our young people engaged and to give them an opportunity, Madam Speaker, to develop so they can have fulfilling lives and careers. I am also pleased, Madam Speaker, to say that coming out of our apprenticeship program, we had 4 new police constables. Yes. It may seem simple, but it goes a long way. I would encourage parents who have children at home, young people, who are capable of participating in this program to join it. Experience and knowledge gained is never lost. It is better to be involved in a program like this where you can give back to your community, where you can learn, where you can develop, than sitting at home and saying you have nothing to do. I recall one of the officers, Madam Speaker, was not particularly interested. Now, Madam Speaker, she's Miss Police. When I pass and you see her grin on her face, and you see the joy of her mother, Madam Speaker, anybody can tell me we're not investing in our people? Madam Speaker, I speak it as it is. 3 apprentices, because I want parents to know that when you send them, please ask them to behave themselves. They had to be terminated for levels of misconduct. I don't know what they did. 11 apprentices withdrew. We continue to see them leave us, which is and natural phenomena for different reasons, some to pursue studies. I pray, Madam Speaker, that one day they will return to make their contribution to Montserrat. If they choose to do it abroad, I am still pleased because they are our ambassadors in the world. $55,000 is spent monthly, Madam Speaker, on the stipend for apprentices. Again, out of our apprentices, supporting education, we have 16 teaching assistants, and they, Madam Speaker, have been doing courses with UE in the fundamentals of special education and introduction to early childhood education. And I am celebrating them because they got A+, grade A's, some were not too good as well. $7,200 was spent on just the course fees for 16 individuals to participate in that, Madam Speaker. We continue, Madam Speaker, to seek opportunities for our apprentices. And so, when Digicel was laying its cable, 8 of our young men joined that team and were able to learn as they assisted with completing the fiber optic survey and rollout. Subsequently, Madam Speaker, 3 of the 8 have been retained by the company. We want to thank Digicel for that, and we want, Madam Speaker, to celebrate our youths. Although, Madam Speaker, they are in the work world, they recall from time to time, and so during the vacation period, Madam Speaker, their professional development courses with them, and on ethics, Madam Speaker, to keep them grounded and focused as we encourage and build our apprentices with skills, values, and competencies, Madam Speaker, on the job. This cost us $2,550, Madam Speaker, as that was done voluntarily and by persons within the department. Madam Speaker, and no bias here. If the men want to learn self-defense too, we can put on a class for them. But we had 21 participants, Madam Speaker, registered in our basic self-defense classes for women. And that program, Madam Speaker, was facilitated by Sergeant Kirkbraid of the Royal Montserrat Police Force. I attended, Madam Speaker, the ceremony. And Madam Speaker, when those ladies took their defense position, Madam Speaker, I see one just do Sergeant Kirk, boom. Listen, Madam Speaker, I was so sorry for Sergeant Kirk. Pressing points, Madam, escaping locks and holes. Madam Speaker, if you have seen them, and Madam Speaker, there's a young lady called Miss Green. She works at the radio station. You should have seen her in action. Then there was another one, Madam Speaker, just across to the prison. I pray, Madam Speaker, she uses care when she's handling our prisoners. But, Madam Speaker, it was really a joy to see those ladies in action. And as I said, I am not biased, because I know that our men also get attacked. And so, if we're able, Madam Speaker, to put on that event again, that training, I will discuss it, Madam Speaker, and I'm sure we can do it for the young men who think that they need to help themselves in that area. There might be a little ashamed, Madam Speaker, but I'm encouraging them, don't be ashamed. You need to protect yourself. That cost us, nothing is free. Another almost $4,372, Madam Speaker, and 50 cents. The Honorable FS is here. I'm accounting for the figures. Madam Speaker, we continue, as Minister has already alluded, to supporting sports. One of our pillars is advancing sports. Our coaches are in the classroom or in the schools, and they're laying the foundation and the skills for that. And so, Madam Speaker, you've already heard about our ESCAPE program over the summer, which is to cement, Madam Speaker, what is already done in the schools over the summer. And also, Madam Speaker, create a safe space for our children, and parents do not have to worry about where their children are going to be. We had 63 children in that program, ranging from age 7 to 15, and they were coached in all of these areas. Our groups, again, were mixed, gender and grouped based on ability. Madam Speaker, I am told that the students enjoyed it. They built their social skills relationships were formed, and they had competition again where they learn, Madam Speaker, or acquire what it is to do teamwork. One of the things, Madam Speaker, that they identified, that in the netball, the boys who were new to the sports looked at the girls in their respective group during their skill drills. And at the end, Madam Speaker, they were able to play at even a higher output than those girls that they learned from. But, Madam Speaker, I am going to be going down there next time, so we are going to even this one out. So, Madam Speaker, I want the parents to know, because a lot of us have some gender-biased ideas, that we are only giving our boys and our girls the opportunity to develop their skills, and don't deny them that. After that, they were given, Madam Speaker, a booklet. Puzzles were in it, and other activities relating to sports to further cement what was done. That program cost us $29,567.70. Our girls' cricket team and girls' basket team, Madam Speaker, are also developed. I want to say, Madam Speaker, with respect to sports, we continue to contribute, and Minister have already named some persons who are going to be leaving us again. And we have made, Madam Speaker, contributions to the sum of $175,985 to our various organizations that are helping to take our sportsmen and sports to another level. The Montserrat Cricket Association was given $100,000. The Montserrat Amateur Basketball was given $31,485. The Montserrat Motorsports Association was given $42,000, and our Domino Association was given $2,500. Madam Speaker, we're in the process of finalizing our national sports policy. And something that is dear to my heart, and I'm convicted on, Madam Speaker, that if we are serious about investing in our young people, that, Madam Speaker, we advance as quickly as possible, of course, with discussions, a program that allows our sportsmen to go off, to hone their skills, to get the experience that they need from the civil service or in the private sector. Madam Speaker, I've told you already that we have invested a lot of money in academics. Sports is also important. We would allow, Madam Speaker, a person to leave to pursue academics, sometime on full salary or half salary, and they come back and they make their contribution. The sportsmen, Madam Speaker, also have to do book work, although most of these kids may be physical. But they too should be given that opportunity of going off and exploring, Madam Speaker, their God-given gifts if we are to invest in people. Madam Speaker, some may say at the end of the day, they get all the glory. But at the end of the day, when I walk on the platform, Madam Speaker, to collect my degree, I get the glory too. And so does the country which invested in me. Madam Speaker, we need to look at this seriously. And if we take some money from one of the scholarships and divide it among our sportsmen and do not frustrate them, because they will go off, they will make the money, they're coming back here, Madam Speaker, to build their homes, invest in their homes. Madam, what is your friend's name? I'm sorry to say it like that, Honorable. Our great cricketer. I see a beautiful house here. I see him doing his business. The Honorable Lionel Baker. And he continues to invest in youths, Madam Speaker. Our sportsmen are our ambassadors. They go out, they speak for us. They bring back investors, they bring back skills, they bring back money. Madam Speaker, this is something that we seriously have to consider if we want to hold them and that they do not jaunt off to the United Kingdom and stay there. I feel very strongly about that, Madam Speaker, so we will continue our discussions on that. And that, Madam Speaker, I pray that we can come to some solution in including it in our national policy, or even before that, Madam Speaker, that be advanced when we are considering scholarships. We continue, Madam Speaker, to invest in our training, and this training, Madam Speaker, are for our youths who work in our department. And so 2 youth workers completed their online training in essentials of youth work, organized, Madam Speaker, and supported by the European Commission and Council of Europe in the field of youth. 5 staff members are also engaged in short courses with the UE Open Campus. Madam Speaker, following our current vision, which is under review with the SDP, we are determined, Madam Speaker, to build a friendly and vibrant community. And so, the staff have been out in the community speaking with leaders, speaking with executives, speaking with persons in the community as how we can help them. And so our people are saying they are concerned about the improved well-being of our community, greater feeling of inclusion, so that the focus, Madam Speaker, will be on our differently abled persons, recognition of special community days, celebration of national days for various community groups within our communities. Alleviation, Madam Speaker, of low economic standards, and all, Madam Speaker, the vices that come along with that sometimes. And so we'll work with them to enhance non-formal education programs, as well, Madam Speaker, of increasing capacity and skills training. Our youth, we have to seek to retain them how we can and involve them in building national pride, a sense of belonging. We're also looking at the greater empowerment of women and men. And so we look at creating, at the moment, what we call the gender-based desks, and also, Madam Speaker, the creation of the disability or vulnerable desks within the department. Our community centers are there for all to use, and we want to see them become, Madam Speaker, a center of economic activity. They're already being used as a center for learning. So we will continue, Madam Speaker, in what we call our SHAPE agenda. So it's focus on sports, health, athletic, and performance. And Madam Speaker, we also have our health agenda. So we focus there, Madam Speaker, on assisting with our elderly, getting them more involved, more active. Madam Speaker, as we move forward, Madam Speaker, we move on, Madam Speaker, to another important sector of our department and that of our community services. Our vision is to become the prime agent for empowerment, care, protection, and socio-economic advancement of all persons on Montserrat. We are the heart, Madam Speaker, of the government. We carry the caring hands of the government, Madam Speaker, and we are determined to build a healthy Montserrat by strengthening, Madam Speaker, our families, protecting our children and elderly and other vulnerable groups, supporting men and women to become independent, self-sufficient, and empowered. We also strive to be gender neutral in all our undertakings. It is therefore, Madam Speaker, necessary that we ensure that the staff as well who carry out the work, that their well-being is looked after. And so, Madam Speaker, one of our major challenges is maintaining a full complement of trained staff. And that's what we want, Madam Speaker, qualified, trained professionals to deliver high-quality, excellent services. And so we continue to seek to grow our own. We are bolstered, supported with our technical cooperation officers who help in their training. And so the plan is that one person at least will go off annually to be trained. Recently, we have 2 persons returning, and 1 have since traveled to the United Kingdom to undertake a master's degree. Madam Speaker, the integrity of a country is judged by what it does to take care of its vulnerable people in need who cannot advocate for themselves. If we do not take care of the vulnerable, Madam Speaker, we are going to be seriously judged. Even the good book tells you, the poor you will always have with you. And so, I reiterate that a society is judged by how it treats and shows compassion for those who cannot protect or fend for themselves. And Nelson Mandela, that comes from him as well, Madam Speaker, who says, Madam Speaker, it's not about how you treat your highest citizens, but your lowest citizens. And so we will continue to support our disadvantaged and marginalized persons through our programs. We have one-off grants, and that gives assistance with cooking gas, school supplies, uniforms. We have funeral grants as well, grave digging, coffin, undertaker fees. We have rental assistance for those who are on welfare. And we also give assistance with utility bills and food packages. Currently, Madam Speaker, there are 316 persons presently receiving monthly financial assistance. Another 70 persons during our period received medical assistance. 97 persons received one-off. 9 persons got funeral grants. 16 applications for school supplies, 26 for school lunch, 21 for bus fares. And Madam Speaker, we also expend monies on our foster care program. One of our units, the Child Family Service, is very busy. Ministers have already shared that they've had about 25 court appearances ranging from child sexual abuse, domestic violence, criminal matters involving children with conflict with the law. We continue to support them, Madam Speaker, and their parents. The court, from what I heard, Madam Speaker, is quite pleased with the work that they're doing, and so have said that they have the gold standard that must be maintained. Further, to protect our children, we have our signs of safety which have received positive feedback. Madam Speaker, these are tools that they use in their work so that they're able to quickly identify when there are challenges in the families, and, Madam Speaker, to advance interventions to protect family members. Note, I didn't say just children alone, but family members. So they have their care plans and their programs. Madam Speaker, we are not about separating children from their families, but life happens. And so we have to ensure that we have our foster families available to accommodate our children when the need arises. And so we have also conducted training in that area. We are collaborating, Madam Speaker, as I said, to mitigate or to eliminate. And so 54 professionals have been trained by that unit, teachers and police in introduction to safeguarding. And we have as well non-governmental persons in cyberbullying and child protection. I know appearing in court is not easy. Giving evidence is no easy feat. And so we are looking at, Madam Speaker, led by the Honourable Minister, a suite for interviewing children via video interviews. I would advocate that we extend that, Madam Speaker, through legislation, of course, to other vulnerable persons or persons, because there are times it is not safe for persons to appear in the court. We cannot do it alone, Madam Speaker. It's together we can. We have one government with one vision and one people. We must invest today in order to secure the future, and that is what we are doing, Madam Speaker. And so, to advance this, we forge internal and external relationships rather than operating in silos. So we collaborate with the Ministry of Education. As I've already said, we are building our cadre of teachers in special needs to assist our persons who need that for whatever reason. And they're able to identify the children quickly. Madam Speaker, with respect, Minister have already alluded to that, with persons with disability, we do not have legislation or a policy. But, Madam Speaker, we're going to work to advance that. In the meantime, we allow persons to bring in equipment that they may need. And these, Madam Speaker, do not attract any duty. All they need to do is to contact the department, and we will give them the requisite form to take to the customs. Madam Speaker, we have already said that there needs to be more visibility, and so, as a government, we will work together to ensure that our persons with disability are included. We'll look, Madam Speaker, how we design our buildings and our facilities so that they too can participate and be included. They had a fantastic day celebrating persons with disability, it's sports, and giving those who think they do not have any, Madam Speaker, an opportunity to see what life is like when you have or when you're experiencing restrictions that persons who do not have that restriction do not experience. We continue, Madam Speaker, to collaborate and to work with each other. Our social protection service, you're very aware that we support Meals on Wheels. We have the Breakfast Club for persons with mental disabilities. And we continue, Madam Speaker, maintaining the work of housing for vulnerable persons. They deserve to have decent housing as other persons in the community. And while I'm at it, I want to support the Honourable Minister of Agriculture in advancing his housing program for the people of Montserrat to have decent housing. Madam Speaker, we also have another group of persons that we serve, and those are persons on probation or parolee, or on parole, our parolees. And so we offer that support with a step-by-step guide and assisting them, Madam Speaker, to reintegrate into society. On that note, Madam Speaker, I also want to advance, Madam Speaker, that indeed we must look at advancing our legal aid framework to assist those persons to have access to justice. Where there is no justice, there can be no peace. And so, Madam Speaker, we will also look at that in the coming year. In terms, Madam Speaker, of legislation, many may say I was on the other side. But we must be a forgiving society as well, and we're very much aware that some persons, because might have been youthful exuberance, lack of foresight, and consequences at the time, have convictions. And we need to put in place a Rehabilitation of Offenders Act, Madam Speaker, to give persons a second opportunity. That was a promise that this government made on the platform. I remember, Madam Speaker, because when I speak, I don't forget easily, being up in Davy Hill, speaking on this issue. And so, I know I will have the support of the government, and the minister is also committed. And the Attorney General's chambers, may I use this opportunity to thank them for the hard work that they have been doing in drafting, supporting the ministers in cabinet and other areas, all the ministries. But we would wish to look at this going forward as well. Madam Speaker, as we go forward, we've got a lot to do, and we can speak of some of these in other programs. But we're looking at, as I promised before, all our policies, our manuals, Madam Speaker, our medical repayment policy and training, robust early intervention, and preventive programs in the coming year. Social services, Madam Speaker, I have no doubt will be inundated in some cases, because I receive a lot of calls for persons seeking employment and need assistance. Our social protection service offers that, and we are one people. And so, Madam Speaker, we will collaborate with our NGOs to ensure that no one is left behind in these difficult times. They are just as important. I know, Madam Speaker, that the budget is very tight, but we started off last year with $3.9 million approximately for our social protection budget. That was increased, Madam Speaker, and at the final budget, we have spent, Madam Speaker, $6 million+ in that department. I am therefore, Madam Speaker, not hopeless when I see a flat budget. And I will reiterate, nothing is impossible with God. Employment remains a huge challenge for our government, for our people, men, women, and youths alike. The high cost of living has escalated despite our requests for assistance for our people that have been denied, not forthcoming. I will continue to join my government in advocating for assistance and support for the unemployed and the working poor. Many of our people had to take mortgages to build homes, not because they want to show off or they think that they're rich, but they had no choice but to rebuild. And may I say, Madam Speaker, some of the houses look bigger than they actually are. So please, let us not be misled by the fact that they look large on the outside, and we're thinking if you can build such a big house, you have money. But Madam Speaker, that is not so. We also have to recognize that you enter some of these houses, Madam Speaker, and they are not finished. They are incomplete, but persons had no choice but to rebuild. So, Madam Speaker, we pray that our partners, they have been working with us, and they will continue to work with us to increase our safety nets, because we do not have low rents and council flats, Madam Speaker, as they have in the UK. We try to help one another as families, Madam Speaker, and we make sacrifices as well. We must do what we can, Madam Speaker, to assist. We have among us many even in government, and by the time, Madam Speaker, that they get to the supermarket and pay their bills, there's not much left for the rest of the month. I am told they're called, or they're dubbed, the working poor. And there seems to be an increase in that, Madam Speaker. And we know that although they will get it back, some reduction was made in salary. But Madam Speaker, every parent, mother, father, grandparent knows that when the doctor tells you that your child is going to die, and these are what you can do, and you ask, Madam Speaker, and this person says, well, you better go and see what you can do. You cannot let your child die, Madam Speaker, but you must do what you need to do. And so that is what we had to do, Madam Speaker. But at the same time, it will impact several persons. With my government, Madam Speaker, we know as well that the cost at the pump has gone up. We now have to plan our journeys. Cooking gas has gone up. Electricity and high cost of living. Madam Speaker, as we go forward, I pray that my government and, Madam Speaker, not saying that they don't have difficulties, that we can give assistance, Madam Speaker, for our people. And when I say our people, Madam Speaker, I'm speaking about all those who live here. Maya Angelou states, it's the diversity that makes for a rich tapestry. We must understand the threads of the tapestry are equal in value, no matter the importance, no matter their texture, and I would say, no matter from whence they come. And so, as we have done before, and I'm sure we'll continue to do, we will extend caring hands to all, where we can, in this community who are in need of help. We know we work with our NGO providers, and I want to thank them. And I pray as well, Madam Speaker, that the international organizations will contribute more, Madam Speaker, so that we can give assistance. We are warned in the good book, Madam Speaker, to treat those who have come among us well. And the Bible says, uses the word foreigner, because I use the King James Version. And so, Madam Speaker, when we consider, we must not divide this nation. And those who employ them, I am asking you please to pay them their wages. Because the Bible also warns, do not let them cry to God, because he will deal with you. We must be fair. We must do right by others. We must let justice prevail. Again, I repeat, where there's no justice and righteousness, there can be no peace. Together, Madam Speaker, we will continue to advance the cause of all of our people within the means that we have. The FCDO team was here a team, and they saw for themselves the astronomical prices for basic goods and cost of living. And so we will continue to discuss. We must continue, Madam Speaker, to look at salaries for our public servants. I know times are hard for everyone. Our teachers, our nurses, our police officers, our administrative officers, and those, Madam Speaker, in a lower salary bracket. We must invest in our people if we are going to secure this country and our future, and we have to do it today. We must do all that we can, Madam Speaker, to facilitate investors to bring work and money into this country for our people. Madam Speaker, we cannot let the sand mining industry remain under threat. God blessed us, Madam Speaker, with a mineral, gold, perhaps equivalent to diamond. Yes, we must take care of our environment, but we must stand up for our families, our private sector, their livelihoods that are under threat, and do what we must, Madam Speaker. The legal implications as well, Madam Speaker, for contracts, Madam Speaker. The sand mining industry also brings revenue into this country. We have reached a point, Madam Speaker, that we must work together. Together we can, and not only together we can, it is together we must, in order to ensure that each person emerges, Madam Speaker, a more responsible person. I am not here, Madam Speaker, to encourage dependency, that they are empowered to contribute to the rebuilding of their families, their community, this land. Madam Speaker, I want to thank all our partners, local, regional, international, Rotary, individuals, Madam Speaker, organizations in the diaspora. We don't like calling names, Madam Speaker, but I saw Miss Irish carrying gift bags to the Golden Years home, and Olga and her friends, Madam Speaker, tasked me with going out on Christmas Day to carry a gift bag for the residents as well, Madam Speaker, at the Magazine Memorial. Golden Years, Madam Speaker. So we have Del Sear and Glendora Allen and Sidney Weeks and Stephen Braid and Ethan O'Garo. Not, Madam Speaker, to single out, because many, many persons have given. But they were determined, Madam Speaker, that our residents, our elderly, Madam Speaker, must have a gift for Christmas, and they must be saluted for that. Madam Speaker, as I said before, and I would like to reiterate, let us work together so that we can emerge, Madam Speaker, stronger, more responsible, more empowered to carry this, our beautiful land, forward together. May God bless Montserrat and all those, Madam Speaker, who contribute to our development and our advancement. Madam Speaker, if it pleases you, I thank you for allowing me this much time to address this honorable House.
I've noticed that we are short of 2 members today. I hope that everything is well with the 2 members. And I'd also like to recognize the presence of some of the team from the finance department who are here with us, and the junior premier and deputy premier of the youth parliament who are sitting in the gallery. I recognize the Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, well, good morning, everybody, and those listening online and wherever you are in the world. Good morning, everybody. Or afternoon, in that case, wherever you are. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and Environment has a mandate to serve, support a number of stakeholders in our farming, fishing, our producers, our land developers. We are also the protectors of our environment. And I think that we can agree that these aspects form some of the basic needs of human life. And because of this, Madam Speaker, we remain committed to doing and delivering our programs in a competent, effective, and with the most integrity that we can. Madam Speaker, before I delve into the crux or the matter of my presentation, I am reminded of a quote by Robert Greene. He is a world-renowned expert in power and strategy. He suggests that we should think of the mind as a river. The faster it flows, the better it keeps up with the present and responds to change. The times in which we are living now shows us just how important it is for us to act swiftly and remain alert and take charge of our own destinies in this country. The pandemic, the war in Russia and Ukraine have both shown us that with these global issues, anything can shut down or reduce the amount of things that we have, especially in economies as ours who depend on import. For example, we have witnessed the experience supply chain issues, production shortfalls, skyrocketing prices for basic services, and restrictions on particular items that are leaving key exporting countries. Madam Speaker, the price of corn, wheat, oil, they have all gone up exponentially. There is a saying that goes, at least once in your life you will need a doctor, a police, a lawyer, and even a preacher, Madam Speaker. And note here that it never said at one time that you will need a politician. But at least 3 times a day, Madam Speaker, you need a farmer. And for some of us who are a little round in the front, it might be 4 times a day, Madam Speaker. Now, the ability to feed ourselves, Madam, is not only for security, but it is just a necessity and should never be considered as a novelty. We continue to grapple with the effects of global economic shocks and climate change. But, Madam Speaker, if you notice what's happening around here, our weather patterns have been changed. Every time you turn around, is something different. You're seeing longer periods of drought, Madam Speaker. I'll give you a joke. Last year sometime I was praying for rain. We had some issues with our sand miners, and I said, just before my birthday, Lord, grant me this one wish. Let some rain fall in the Bellum Valley area. It was October the 13th last year. And those of you who were paying attention will know what I'm speaking about. Madam Speaker, the rains did come, or they came. But they fell only, I believe, from St. Peter's or thereabout to St. John's. And those of you who remembered what happened, there was a case where a Rastaman and a man in a white car were trying to decide whether they save their food or save their lives. These are the things we're talking about as far as we're considering when it comes to climate change and global warming and everything that's happening. No longer can we predict these things, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we just came out of Lent. And for those of you who are paying attention again, you realize that we would have had some rain, when normally during that time, it's very, very dry. Not that I'm vexed for that. I'm really happy because our white potato crops that were in the field needed every drop to bring them to the maturity that they are now. Now, during the recent United Nations climate change, or COP26, as they call it, we heard the passionate plea of Barbados' Prime Minister, the right Mayor Motley, for larger countries, Madam Speaker, who I might add, they're the ones who are responsible for the bulk of the damage that's been done to our climate, or causing the effects of climate change that we are seeing. And Madam Speaker, to date, we are yet to see one drop of that funding trickling down to us here in these smaller countries. Madam Speaker, a farmer said to me, Minister, I have never seen so much pestilence on the land since he's been farming, and this man is almost 70-something years old. Our farmers are battling everything from mole cricket to iguanas, agoutis, rats, fungi, blight, Madam Speaker, everything you could possibly think about that's affecting these farmers, we are facing it. Now, even though all these things are happening around us, Madam Speaker, I must say that I am very proud, exceptionally proud, that is, for the amount of milestone achievements that our ministry and our stakeholders have achieved. And I'm equally as anxious for this year, or the plans that we have to come. Now, throughout this budget speech, I will try to highlight a lot of the highs that we have had, but I would have to also mention some of the lows that has affected us throughout last year. First up, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our fishers and our boaters have been tossed around and moved around like nomads for the last however long. Now, Madam Speaker, they are battling in the current location with glass, debris, swampy conditions, and kusha. This year, Madam Speaker, we have been able to finally, with the assistance of the Honorable Joseph Sammy and his ministry, to create for them a better facility or a better place for them to park their boats. Madam Speaker, although we're not complete finished and we have not moved all the boats as yet, we are still counting this as one of the major achievements of our ministry, considering what was before. Now, Madam Speaker, the Premier would have highlighted in his budget speech things that are affecting our reefs and the fact that we have actually tagged, satellite and flipper tagged over 30 turtles, so I will not spend too much time on this. But, Madam Speaker, what I'm exceptionally proud of is the 5 young people who were trained in scuba gear diving and have received their certification from PADI. I think it was the Pan American Diving Institute or something of that sort. These young people, Madam Speaker, will be helping us in retrieving the data and the disease identification and, of course, some treatment of these reefs, which form a critical part of our biodiversity. On the list of things we have accomplished, Madam Speaker, is also the fact that as a ministry, we recognize that safety of life at sea is very important to our fishers. Madam Speaker, I think it was Moose, my good friend down in the bay. He said, any day a fisherman returns from sea is a good day fishing. So what we have done, Madam Speaker, is that we have trained over 25 persons to include police officers, staff, and of course our fishers in safety of life at sea, and also in engine use and maintenance. Thanks, Mr. here, to our Port Authority team, and of course the police who was helping us with that training. Madam Speaker, one of the main goals of our ministry is to redevelop agriculture in this country, which includes, of course, crops, livestock, aquaculture, marine resources, in an effort to promote food security and satisfy local demand, but also to target specific crops for import substitution and possible export. And note I say possible, Madam Speaker. We cannot possibly think of export until we are able to feed ourselves properly within our country. Madam Speaker, the slogan 25% by 2025 is the mandate of the OECS. What it means, Madam Speaker, we are trying to reduce as a region, collectively, throughout the Caribbean, we are trying to reduce our import bill by 25%. Our import bill so far, and it's climbing quite rapidly, has been in the region of about $10 or so billion annually. Now, my maths is not the best, but 25% of $10 billion, I believe, my good mathematician friend, is about 2.5 billion there, but you correct me if I'm wrong. So imagine what would happen if we keep $2.5 billion circulating within our region, within the region. Imagine what that does for small economies. Now, as a government, we cited this long before we got into office. It is quoted in my manifesto, and I would read it so I don't get it wrong. To be exact, MCAP will identify and promote and assist in implementing appropriate farming and fisheries technologies and systems that are geared or targeted at increased production of crop substituted items and products by using modern techniques, end quote. I am proud to report to here today, Madam Speaker, that with the use of the PIF technique, we have been able to mass produce well over 1,200 planting trees that are growing right now in the field, and another 3,000 plants that are on the way with the form of tissue culture. Madam Speaker, each planting tree can produce well over maybe 3-4 suckers in a year time. So if you multiply 4 planting suckers by about the 1,200 and the 3, that's 4,200, you know again the amount that we're talking about in about 2 years. 4 multiplied by 4,200 thereabout is 4, 4, 16, 4, 3 is 12, 12. It's a lot of planting trees. Let's put it simply. A lot of planting trees, Madam Speaker. So our production will be tripled or quadrupled very shortly. Madam Speaker, sometimes I wonder when do we get time to do all of these things at the ministry. We have also propagated, not just given lip slips to the farmer, we have propagated in-house and distributed over 750 hills of yams. And we expect another shipment to come in shortly to continue this project throughout this upcoming year. Madam Speaker, we did not just leave it to our farmers. We actually went out in the field with the help of our extension officers, and we dug and created these hills for the yams, further cementing our relationship, our partnership with our farmers. Madam Speaker, after approximately 30 or so years, and I believe it's more, Premier could correct me, after approximately 30 years of not producing white potatoes in Montserrat, this year, Madam Speaker, we have reintroduced the crop, and we have well over 5 acres of white potatoes that are in the field right now, Madam Speaker. 17 farmers have benefited from this project. And from all the estimates and everything that we have seen, I never see potato look so pretty yet, Madam Speaker. I suppose when you get them for yourself, you will tell me. But, Madam Speaker, this is what we mean by using initiative. This is what we mean by putting things in place for our future. Madam Speaker, our estimates indicate that we'll be eating them for a long time to come. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen. Right. Madam Speaker, this is what we call as, or refer to as huge strides with reducing our import bill, as white potatoes are some of the most consumed crops within our small economy. Madam Speaker, our onion production continued throughout the year, and while we are seeing a reduction in the total amount because of the amount of disease their farmers have faced, we have seen approximately 15,000 pounds of onions reaching the supermarkets this year. So please, when you do walk into these shops, ask for the local onions. And even if they're a little bit more expensive, which I seriously doubt, please don't tell me. Feel proud that you're supporting local production and that money is staying here with us in the country. Madam Speaker, we have consistently, over the last 2 years, reduced the importation of cabbage. And this year, Madam Speaker, and currently right now, inside our cold storage chiller, some would remember in the very first year we got to government, we bought 2 reefer containers. And they are in use right now, storing these cabbage, making sure that they last a little longer on the shelf, and of course, giving maximum benefits to our farmers. Additionally, last year, Madam Speaker, we introduced some new fruits to the list of things that we supplied at our annual tree planting day. And this year, Madam Speaker, we're exceptionally proud that dragon fruit, a fruit that's predominantly grown in Asia, is now a part of Montserrat's culture, and they're doing quite nicely. Madam Speaker, also on our agenda for this year is to use that very same PIF, the technique that we referred to earlier on the planting production, to now focus on banana and pineapples, Madam Speaker. And several farmers have also expressed their interest in dasheen, yellow lambs, and of course, we are also working at the ministry to make this a reality. Oh, Madam Speaker, what's good if all these intentions, or what's good if all these things are done and our farmers are still battling with irrigation, battling with having the amount of water they need to irrigate these crops? Madam Speaker, providing water needs to our farmers is absolutely critical. We cannot have any sort of production without water. So, as a ministry, we gave out well over 25 tanks just this year, and the year before it was a lot more than that. So what we're doing this year, Madam Speaker, is to make sure that these tanks are up, installed, and that they're available to catch water. One of the things we have said, Madam Speaker, is that we will continue to decrease or work on decreasing the water rates that our farmers are paying. They're paying well over $28 per. And there is no way we can support the continued production of anything unless we reduce these rates, given the fact that the water is absolutely critical. Madam Speaker, today I am here to report, I'm elated even, to report that with the help of Cabinet, or the support of Cabinet, my ministry, and of course the finance team, we have found a way to support and subsidize water to our commercial farmers this year to the tune of $100,000. Madam Speaker, we are working at the ministry and by extension to this government, but we will continue in the years to come. The other thing that we'll be doing, Madam Speaker, we have a lot of dams around in this country, a lot of water holes. Sometimes when the donkeys reach lookout, it's not because they want to, but because whatever little water hole they have up in the area that they are have dried up. So as a ministry this year, we'll be re-establishing all these dams and all the water holes and islands to facilitate, and also to facilitate the connection to our farmers. Madam Speaker, we are not done yet. More on irrigation. Madam Speaker, we will provide this year a drop shed, that's the best term I could have phrased for it, a drop shed facility structure that will aid in harvesting of rainwater. I said before, it's one thing to have the tank and another thing to get it full. This structure will aid our farmers in more than one way. Not only just to collect the water, but providing storage and, of course, shelter for our farmers. It's one thing to be out in the field and have no way to keep the sun off your head. One female farmer keeps asking me, Madam Darcy, you were there. We went out to her production and her tools were hanging from a tree.
Yes.
So I could say to that farmer, today look out this year, we'll see how far we stretch it across our commercial farmers. But the intent is to have this structure to gear in catching the rainwater, providing storage, and also shelter for our farmers. And I'm speaking, the process of establishing an agro-processing facility started last year. We understand the importance of such a facility, and we experienced some setbacks. That's one of the lows, I must say. But this year, Madam Speaker, well, let me go back. Many of you would have remembered the success of Prime. Many of you would have experienced the amount of goods that were on sale or available in this very same building last year. Many of our locals had on display things like cassava flour, jams, juices, jellies, oils, wine. Madam Speaker, these things can be mass-produced. These things can be made available for export. And with this agro-processing facility, we will be able to make these things in a more controlled environment. Madam Speaker, right now we're in the first phase of a project which is partnered by the CDB. They're actually right now going out and doing our market research for us. And if this proves favorable, they will assist us with the funding and design of this facility, or this agro-processing facility. And also to include, the machinery and the packaging material and personnel that will be needed to make this facility a success. This is what we call progress, Madam Speaker. This is what we call putting things in place for our future. Our lease is on the table, sir. And we have people who are currently working in getting this a reality. Livestock. Madam Speaker, the production of semi-intensive small ruminants at our livestock facility in Bazies is at an all-time high. Thanks, of course, and let me say to you, thanks to these young men on that farm who are making it a reality in the Bazies area. We have just added a new boar goat, which is an excellent breed for meat, and they have the ability to produce high offsprings and increase our flock. We also continue at that very same station to provide stud services for local persons who have their goat and cannot afford to buy the bigger breeds. Bring your animals to the station in Bazies, and we'll provide the male to increase or to help you with that. Madam Speaker, the intention this year is to add pigs to that very same station. By the end of that, this station would be the place that our farmers can come and see what it is, and of course, hopefully they can implement it for themselves, which is the main purpose of this demonstration farm. Madam Speaker, somebody might ask, well, why is all this important? Why is it important to increase our breed? Why is it important to increase the stock? Madam Speaker, we have an island, an abattoir. And let me say, it's actually a state-of-the-art abattoir which is underutilized at the moment. Under my tenure at this ministry, the aim is to improve the quality and quantity of meats that can be slaughtered at the abattoir, and to use, of course, technology in providing specialty cuts of meats and the possibility of making our very own sausages. As our team on hand has already been trained by, I think, a Dr. Guys, if I'm not mistaken, in the production of sausages. This year, Madam Speaker, we have the opportunity to send 3 persons to a 2-week exposure in greenhouse, crop production, poultry, and pig production overseas. Madam Speaker, what we're doing is that we're continuing to build up the capacity in our country, and not just for the elder folks who have been doing it, but also for our young people. Madam Speaker, I didn't know he was going to come today, but he's mentioned in my speech, and you've already recognized his presence. Our junior youth parliament agriculture minister gave a very passionate speech at their the inaugural the other day. And the aim, Madam Speaker, is to collaborate with the Youth Parliament and the Department of Youth and Sports, and of course your entrepreneurship program, to make some of these things that we're saying accessible to our young people. Madam Speaker, as humans, our tendency is to react. Our tendency as human beings, Madam Speaker, is to react after things have happened. But my job as minister is to continuously train myself and, of course, step back and imagine the larger picture, thinking outside the box and bringing some of these things to reality. And, of course, my government's vision. We have done a lot so far, Madam Speaker, over the last 2 years and 4 months. Sometimes I feel like I've been here longer than that. 2 years and 4 months, Madam Speaker, what we have done as a ministry cannot be undenied. Agriculture will continue to grow and thrive under my leadership at the Ministry of Agriculture, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we're not leaving out the environment. It is our mandate at the ministry to care and preserve our environment for our generations to come. The last thing you want, Madam Speaker, is for 10 or 15 or 20 years down the road, some young person say, well, what were they thinking when they did some of the things that we are doing? Madam Speaker, the environment's program's objective is to formulate policies, implement programs to ensure the sustainable use of our environment. Under policies and legislation this year, we'll be seeking to bring into force, well, we've already done it, I think, we've passed it in Parliament, Trade in Endangered Species Act. This act actually domesticates the legislation which facilitates the implementation of the Convention on Trade in Endangered Species, or CITES. During 2021, the department continued to work with the RSPB to implement a wetland restoration project in Belém. Madam Speaker, those of you who have been down to that area would see what we have done. You're seeing the return of several different species of birds, some ducks, and in working with our stakeholders, to include our landowners, to include the National Trust and tourism, we are making sure that that area becomes one of the pristine places that you can visit if you're a tourism if you're visiting as a tourist or if you're here as a resident. Madam Speaker, that area used to be a golf course, I believe one of the best golf courses in the region. And we have already started to reestablish this in that area. The department developed and submitted 2 proposals to the OECS this year, Madam Speaker. The first of which is the construction of a modern greenhouse with tissue culture facility. What this means, Madam Speaker, we'll be able to mass produce a lot of the plants, a lot of the trees that we're selling on tree planting day, and a lot of the things that we're going to make available to our farmers. And the second one is the construction of artificial reefs. I am told there used to be one someplace off Bransby Point some years ago. Yes? And the aim is, Madam Speaker, working with the OECS, is to see how feasible or how is it for us that we can implement these 2 projects. And so far, the projects have been seen favorable, and we're looking forward to that this year, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we continue to do our bird surveys to determine the population of birds on Montserrat, and of course our team inside the Environment Department, Ajame, Tiffany, Mr. Menz, and of course, let me pause to recognize the passing, of course, of Dolores, one of the key parts of that ministry, and we still miss her at the ministry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, fire ants treatment continues across the country. We have treated well over 2,000 nests. Madam Speaker, that's just a drop in the budget, because every time you kill one, it seems like you spring up someplace else. We have distributed well over 800 packets of ant bait to persons who have the issues with these disturbing things that have, seemingly taken over our soils. Madam Speaker, our national tree planting day continues to be a success throughout our country. This year alone, we have seen well over 1,500 ornamental trees and fruit trees being propagated by the department's nursery and sold to the members of the public. Right now, Madam Speaker, the department is sourcing citrusians and grafting material to continue propagating of these trees. I have a dream, Madam Speaker. Not Martin Luther's dream, but my very own dream. No, Charles, not Martin Luther. I have a dream that one day Montserrat will see a citrus grove back on island again. Madam Speaker, this year we'll be focusing on grafting or budding our own local lime trees. And before I say that, we have to remind you where we started. In the very first year, Madam Speaker, we brought in over 250 orange trees. And these trees have been distributed and are growing right now. And it's from those very same citrus trees that we'll be able to get these budding that we're referring to. The cost of things overseas are expensive, and we're saying if we can get them locally, we won't have to depend on them overseas. This is what it means by investing now for our future, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, some of the citrus that we brought in last year included the Valencia and the Hamlin oranges. And not just on the orange side, Madam Speaker, we're looking to do grapefruits, lemons, and of course limes. Because we all know a good lime makes a good lemonade. And I hear we used to export them sometime in the past.
No tariff on it, right? No tariff on it.
No increased tariff. No increased tariff at all. You know, I'm the last one to increase tariffs in this country. Madam Speaker, our plans for the upcoming year. I'm just going to run through them in bullet forms because they're very self-explanatory. One of the first things we're looking to do in the Department of Environment, Madam Speaker, is to, like I said before, increase the production of citrus and avocado trees. Yes, we've done the avocado before, but we had an issue and we did not get to graft well under 50% of the total amount that we had. So this year again, we'll be trying that same project again, and hopefully, Madam Speaker, we will be able to see a lot more of these avocado trees being grafted. We'll also be implementing a testing and feasibility project for further production using wheat and barley. Sounds far-fetched, right? Madam Speaker, the cost of feed overseas is very expensive. Our very own doctor was in the news stating how these things have gone up. So we are saying if we can do them at the ministry and even reduce it by the same 25%, we will have something locally on island to substitute for feed when we're having these issues. Madam Speaker, we will also push or further supplement our irrigation at the estimated cost of $90,000. This is separate and apart to the $100,000 that we spoke to before. Madam Speaker, over the last couple of years, our country seemingly was booming in one area. The amount of feral chicken and agoutis that have been plaguing us and the iguanas for some reason seemingly, Madam Speaker, without any sort of an dent in their population. Madam Speaker, last week, Thursday, I was at a meeting with the Farmers Association. Let me say thanks to Billy Darrow, of course, Mr. Brown, and their team for the presentation that they presented. Seemingly, Madam Speaker, in Trinidad, agoutis are going of up to 50 US for one. So these things that have been tormenting us for quite some time have a good market. And I see my friend shaking his head, you know what I'm talking about. These things have a market in Trinidad, and they have NGOs already set up. And in working with the Farmers Association, we'll be seeing how we can partner to provide some home for these feral chicken, if it's even just for egg production. I don't want to say the other one, because somebody might say I'm cruel.
We eat them? You don't eat them?
That's not the cruel side. Madam Speaker, we're not just going to go and slaughter and kill everything that we have running in our forests, as they form a good part of our biodiversity and some of the reasons why persons visit our country. But we are proposing at least an open season and some regulations as to the size and quantities that will be taken. Of course, we do know that some people travel all over the world for sports, gaming, and other things. Madam Speaker, this year through the EU and the ACP Fund, we'll be seeking to complete a couple of projects. One of them is a coastal habitat and mangrove restoration, which includes a cleanup of Margarita Bay. We've been there before and removed, I think it was over 15 or so thousand pounds of things that we took off to that beach. And we're trying to go back in the very same area again, but this time the intention is to actually maintain the beach. For someone to actually have a job, the project value is at about $12,000. And of course, we're asking whoever that person is to maintain whatever we plant there and try to keep the beach clean. Madam Speaker, we will continue to propagate the planting of native trees in Silver Hills, as well as Lookout in Davy Hill. I saw a picture the other day of, I remember what country it was, but in different times of the year, you see different colors, purple trees, yellow trees, depending on what season. I'm saying we have that very same opportunity to use our local fauna, our local flowers, to beautify Montserrat, if it's even just along the roadsides. Madam Speaker, there's an opportunity there for $20,000 to be paid in that project. Madam Speaker, everything I've said before and up to this point is showing you how much jobs we have created and the potential for creating jobs going forward. The Land Development Authority, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this year in April, or the 1st of April this year, the Land Development Authority celebrated 50 years in operation in Montserrat. And I think they deserve some sort of recognition for the work that they have been playing in getting our country up and running. Madam Speaker, just this year alone, the LDA was implementing a program in Lookout where we rehabilitated, not renovated as some people suggested in this house. We rehabilitated, we carried out important repairs to the structure of those properties valued at over $327,000. Might I add, Madam Speaker, that these were not capital monies. These were monies that we found with the help of our Honorable Financial Secretary and the team, and of course with some fiscal management within our very own ministry. Madam Speaker, I want to say thanks to them, to her and the team, of course. And that project, Madam Speaker, saw 19 homes which remained incomplete. It's lunchtime, we could break for lunch. Madam Speaker, what we're seeing is that this work would have provided several jobs. There were 5 contractors and about 30 persons working on this project. And of course, the residents are very happy for the work that we have done on their homes, which were falling apart right under their feet. Madam Speaker, LDA will continue to repair and maintain the government housing stock, to include the replacement of 488 feet of wooden railings. And we did not put back the same old wooden railings, Madam Speaker. We used concrete. So these railings should remain for a long time to come. You can't have old people at the facility and no railing to protect them from walking over the edges. Madam Speaker, $61,000 was spent on this project. One of the critical roles of the LDA, Madam Speaker, is the management of lands in Corkhill and those areas. Madam Speaker, we have been accommodating agriculture and sand mining in those areas. And as there is a huge demand for land, we will continue through this year. Right now, Madam Speaker, and currently on our books, is a request from our Montserrat Motorsports Association for the development of a multi-purpose racetrack facility in that very same area. Right now, they're using the main road, and with the amount of horsepower these cars have, it's not safe. It's not safe for the pedestrians, it's not safe for the viewers, and we're saying that we will be facilitating them with some of the lands in that area. And what we're planning to do is not just to give them the lands. There are some farmers who are in that area who are farming as well, and we're saying by realigning where these farms are, we could better make use of the land in that area. Madam Speaker, I spoke to maintenance before, but the department will continue to maintain not just the warden assistance, not just the housing stock, but of course, government's buildings. There's no need to state here, Madam Speaker, that we have a backlog issue with maintenance. And every time you put forward money for maintenance, they send you back. Madam Speaker, this program will ensure that the empty apartments that we have all over this country in Lookout and in Davie Hill will be made fit for purpose, as there are persons who are consistently asking us for these apartments. And I know the AG will tell me I can't rent them in the state that they're in. Additionally, this is how we create jobs, by performing the maintenance that we can on these buildings. And of course, there is economic activity in the process. Madam Speaker, housing continues to be a huge priority for this government. During the last financial year, we carried out 2 consultancies. Madam Speaker, I'm not here to play politics. But something must have gone critically wrong sometime before when someone saw it fit to impose on us to do consultancies to tell us how to build houses. Madam Speaker, we have been building houses in this country for years. And somewhere along the line, somebody imposed 2 consultancies, one of them to tell me how the houses should be, whether 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, upstairs, downstairs, apartment complex. And the other one, Madam Speaker, is to tell me how to maintain them, what management framework, what policies, who to give them to. Madam Speaker, what that did for this government and what that did for this country was effectively shut down the housing assistance program. So when I stand in this house and have some people on the other side asking me questions along that line, Madam Speaker, sometimes I need to remind them that it was under their tenure that we saw these consultancies, which are now coming to end. And these are what we'll be using to put forward to the British government, whether in CIPREG 2, which I really hate that name. But we have to put forward those cases to get the funding for the continuation of our housing assistance. Madam Speaker, $15 service lots were given out last year. 15 residential service lots at a value of $450,000. So although we didn't have the cash to give them, Madam Speaker, we found a way to give these persons land that they could use as collateral and reduce the amount of monies that they go to the bank for. Madam Speaker, 4 of these houses are completed. 1 should be completed maybe late next month or thereabout. And of course, we're encouraging the others to see how they could get you. It's not their fault. Some of them are still seeking financial assistance from the banks and mortgages and things like that. Madam Speaker, I stated before that the demand for land is at an all-time high. Many of our lands in this country are landlocked. What that means, they cannot be accessed without roads, or somebody's land is blocking somebody so they can't get to them. Madam Speaker, this financial year, the ministry will commence the development of a new road collecting Drummonds to Lookout. And not just my ministry alone, of course, we'll be working with Comes and Works because they have the technicians and they have the equipment. But we'll be providing the land, of course, some financing, and of course our surveying technicians. Not only, Madam Speaker, that this will open up new lands for housing and agriculture and among other things, but Madam Speaker, it will provide a new route in and out of Lookout, in and out of Drummonds. For too long, Madam Speaker, there are some villages that have one way in and one way out, and we cannot continue to live like that. I'm especially proud today to be working with the MCW team, because without them, some of the things that we have accomplished could not have been possible. One government. One government. Not going to repeat that one. Madam Speaker, we will continue to care for the vulnerable persons among us. This is why within the last financial year, we saw projects valued at over $45,000. 6 projects undertaken through our home improvement programs, and another 6 bathrooms valued at $360,000 were constructions for persons who, in this day and age, are still living without indoor toilets and bathrooms. So that's 6 less persons on the list, and this year again we will continue to push that program. Madam Speaker, the housing unit carried out rehabilitation of 3 vacant units to house vulnerable families at $90,000. In addition, our home program allowed for the completed construction of a home this year valued at $290,000, and another home is under construction at the moment. They have already spent well over $132,000 on that house. Madam Speaker, what this goes to show, that contrary to some belief, I wouldn't say popular, to some belief that nothing is being done in the housing department and nothing is being done, clearly there are projects that are ongoing, and we will continue into the financial year. Madam Speaker, so what can you expect from housing this year? On the legislation, we will complete our national housing and strategy policy. We will construct at least 3 bathrooms and at least 10 repairs to our vulnerable. We will rehabilitate 3 more vacant family units. It's causing a bit of jealousy because some people say, oh, mine looks so, and you're doing that one for that one. But we will get to those ones eventually. Funds provided, of course, not calling the Premier's name. Madam Speaker, I wish to pause for a moment to emphasize how pleased I am with an injection, well, with the workforce that my ministry, the finance team have done in obtaining a further $400,000, which will see 19 homes benefiting from one of these 3 programs. It's not a lot, but it's something. Financial assistance, material assistance grants, and home improvement grants. The team is busy right now formulating the policy and formulating how we will go about doing this. But these are the things that you could expect this year within the ministry of which housing lies. Physical planning, Madam Speaker. This year, Madam Speaker, we saw a huge accomplishment by the ministry and by the Department of Physical Planning, which saw the modification to a physical development plan to allow sand mining in the Upper Bellum and Fort Gutt. Madam Speaker, we did not just do Bellum, we also did Fort Gutt. So right now, mining is happening. I heard the parliamentary secretary put a plug for our sand miners. And let me just say here, as of, we did, it's a lot of work. We did a lot of work. I don't know when I'm going to thank these people, but a lot of work was done. So right now, Madam Speaker, our sand miners have access to new material. Since October last year, Madam Speaker, they have been scrunting for material. And one miner wrote me to tell me that this week, well, not this week, it would have been maybe 2 weeks ago, they are going to have to let off people because they cannot find stand to mine. Madam Speaker, this is a proactive government. If some of these things were done before, needless to say, the process would have been shorter. Madam Speaker, there is no need to say what the sand mining industry does for Montserrat. Apart from the jobs they create, of course, is the royalties and, of course, the fuel they buy and the monies that they put in our treasury. because they too pay. Madam Speaker, sand mining is on its way again, and we are hoping to move to Bellum as soon as we can, as soon as we finish the last bit of work that's remaining to do. Not Bellum, sorry, Fort God. We want to rehabilitate Cargill and Delvins. These areas are open, of course, but you can't have big trucks running back and forth between that area. So we're looking towards Fort God as the new step, or the new location for mining. The GIS section in our department, Madam Speaker, has continued to work with the Statistics Department. They continue to provide information for our census. They continue to use drone technology for mapping purposes. And of course, they were very instrumental in mapping the Bellum Valley in support of our sand mining. And of course, the ongoing monitoring of the Zone V area. Madam Speaker, this year, in line with other CARICOM restrictions, we will be trying to bring our building code up to par. So we'll be working on our building code this year. How much is that? Madam Speaker, we are proud of the digitization of our land registry records that has already begun. And Madam Dorset would have spoken to the idea that we've actually hired 2 people, I believe, from the youth program who are currently working within that department, Madam Speaker, to digitize our land and registry records. She spoke to the idea if one letter or one number fell off, the implication it has. But imagine if a hurricane, imagine if a fire, imagine if a flood or some plumbing issue were to destroy our records at the Land Registry Department. I want to say thank you here to the Canadian people, Impacts for Justice, who are making this possible. And they have also indicated that they have the potential to extend to other areas of government. This is preparing for our future, Madam Speaker. Some of these documents are so frail that you have to be careful how you handle them. And you know, people, well, they kill for matters less than that before. So imagine land. Madam Speaker, I am as proud as I am of what has been accomplished in this country. There is no need to say that there's a lot more that has to be done. Madam Speaker, when I reflect on what we are saying is a flatline budget, Madam Speaker, in my past life as a search and rescue personnel, working with the Defense Force through SEDEMA, working in CERT, when they tell you about flatline, it means dead.
Like that.
Madam Speaker, we are grateful for the extra monies that were put towards the Social Security. But Madam Speaker, in times like these, in this economic climate, when inflation is at an all-time high and still climbing, any monies that would have been sufficient 2 years ago cannot possibly be adequate now. Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is this. If you give me $150 last year to buy a gas cylinder, and this year it costs $230, and you give me the same $150, Madam Speaker, it means I am short. And if my math's right, it's about $80. Madam Speaker, it's simply maths. Nothing going the wrong way. Madam Speaker, I feel somebody mentioned the working poor before. I feel sometimes for them when they cannot buy the things that they need. The unemployed, our social $900 recipients, our nurses, our teachers, single mothers. I feel the pain sometimes when I see them in the shops and it's only 1 or 2 things they're picking up. And they're still struggling to find a couple of pennies to pay for it. So we don't need nobody to tell this government how things are hard. We know. Madam Speaker, what really annoys me is when you hear or see the amount of monies that our aid donors are pumping in other countries that are not dependents, that are not OTs. Madam Speaker, I think Minister Kernan said it before, he who pays the piper calls the tune. But I'm a Bible man, and my Bible puts it another way. It says, the borrower becomes slave to the lender. Except in this case, Madam Speaker, it's slave to our givers. Madam Speaker, our Montserrat population, we have to rise up, we have to get up. We have to find ways to invest in our own country, whether it be your time or your talents or your monies. Madam Speaker, I know for a fact that the members on the other side are eager and they're anxious to tear this budget apart. Madam Speaker, but I want to point out to the population that what we have is not as a result of not trying. What we have is not a result of not putting cases forward. Madam Speaker, there is a backlog maintenance and infrastructure that's falling apart around us. Some 8 million it was a couple of years ago when we came into government. Madam Speaker, we have put forward cases for increasing the contribution to social welfare recipients. We have put forward cases for bringing back the ferry. And nobody in this house could tell me about ferry and its uses or its importance. I have worked every ferry that's ever come into this country. So I know the importance of such a service. Madam Speaker, we have put forward cases for raising our civil servant salaries. And I have to put forward these cases, the powers that be sending back to do more assessments, more business cases, more consultancies. And I know our finance team have worked really hard on this. Madam Speaker, during FAM last year, I think Ms. Darcy, you would have said it, or was it Kernan? During FAM last year, the lead person on that contingent said to us, they can't understand how things are expensive. Their monies can't buy nothing. So they themselves know the conditions under which we're living. And that was last year. Things are gone up this year, we know this. Madam Speaker, I don't know if I should say this. Madam Speaker, what happened? They say men who are in earnest fear no consequence. Madam Speaker, some time ago during an election campaign, it was said that the present administration or the then administration that was in power was corrupt. They won the election and saying that the people who are in power calling their own Montserrat brothers and sisters corrupt. And that might have had a direct implication for the way how things are done now. Madam Speaker, we lost a lot of intricate parts that were keeping this country running as a result. Madam Speaker, the amount of scrutiny and micromanaging, sometimes you wonder how the finance team get through. I don't know where the cameraman is, but I want you all to show the people that I'm speaking about. No, I'm serious, Madam Speaker. Anyway. Madam Speaker, the 190-something million that we get is just a drop in the bucket of reasonable needs that we have in this country. A drop. Can't go halfway that you're supposed to go. Madam Speaker, I long for a time, and I didn't know about this, but I long for a time when we can submit yearly capital projects. I understand that's how we used to be. Madam Speaker, I feel for my premier who have to hear me begging and bawling for more. You have to listen. Madam Speaker, I feel for the Honorable Hector who stays the plight of our young people and our young women in this country. And we have had to become very creative in trying to find solutions to some of these issues. Madam Speaker, I feel also for the Honourable Member Claude Hogan. Not Claude Hogan, I'm not sorry for you talk. The Honourable Charles Kerner, the names are close. It's my good friend, you know that we get along. Not sorry for him, look at him, he's well dressed, he look good. I like to see him dressed, he looks really good. But Madam Speaker, I feel for the Honourable Member Charles Kernan, because sometimes they call him cruel and heartless. But he has a hard job to do, Madam Speaker, keeping our country COVID-free, keeping our health systems in check, providing for our schools, providing for our social. I don't know how we do it. Madam Speaker, I feel for our very own Dr. the Right Honorable Sammy, apple tree scientist. Madam Speaker, I feel for him because he has a huge burden to bear. Madam Speaker, I know for a fact that he is eager to fix all the roads. Sometimes when I hear people calling, you want to know, well, how Jesus Christ, how we get some of these things done. Madam Speaker, I feel for him because he also has to enhance the energy program, our geothermal, and of course still our ICT programs. And you heard the Honorable Dorset add some more to his list of things that he had to do with digitization and these other things. Madam Speaker, we have some draconian rules. No. You back broad, you could take them. Madam Speaker, we have some draconian rules that dictate the way we can spend monies and what ministries can or cannot do. And nobody knows them better than the Honorable Financial Secretary. And Madam Speaker, sometimes I wonder, but if you ask the honorable members on the other side, they too know the draconian things that government has to go through to get things done or to find money. They forget? Oh, okay. Madam Speaker, Martin Luther King said, and I quote, "It is all right to tell a man to lift himself up by his bootstrap. But it is a cruel jest to say to a bootless man he ought to pull himself up by his own bootstraps." May I dare say also, Madam Speaker, to add to that, it's even cruel to tell a man to pull his boots up or to lift his feet up when you yourself is standing on his boots. Madam Speaker, just to show how revolting it is, last Monday we had Parliament. And a friend of mine called me from the UK. She said, "Oh, I saw you in Parliament." I said, "What do you mean you see me?" He said, "Yes, I saw your feet and your head behind a white tablecloth." Madam Speaker, after 25 years, we are still meeting and having Parliament. God bless the building. Let me recognize the President. Thank you very much. But Madam Speaker, we are still having Parliament in a makeshift, what is that? In a makeshift building. Yes. And Madam Speaker, it's only this year, under this administration, that we have had some sort of a commitment for the provision of a Parliament building. Yes. She was instrumental. Give credit where credit is due.
Oh yeah, she was non-stop. Oh yeah.
Madam Speaker, this cements that this administration has been working and has been doing, not just sitting. I know things are not everywhere we want it. Madam Speaker, this makeshift chamber I have to sit in, sometimes I have to sit and listen to some of the questions that they ask. I understand now, Madam Speaker, that that is the nature of politics. But I will assure those of you who are listening and those of you who are elsewhere that we are not sitting down and doing nothing. We have shown over the past that we are a capable group and that we even, with the little bit of monies that we have accomplished a lot. I just told you what I have done in my ministry and the plans are for the upcoming year. And of course, you've heard the other ministers, and you will hear the right Honorable Dr. Sammy as well as he talks about his team. But again, I want to give credence to our Financial Secretary and her team who are doing an incredible job in ensuring that this country keeps afloat. Madam Speaker, this year our budget is on time. This year, Madam Speaker, we are happy to come here on the right time to present our budget, and a balanced one, I believe, at that. Yes?
Yes.
Madam Speaker, I want to tell you a story. There were 3 people, and I have to be careful with this one. There were 3 people walking in a building going up some stairs. The first one passed, he didn't say anything. The second one exclaimed, look at all those dead flies on the steps. Immediately, the one behind looked and said, oh yeah, there are a lot of dead flies there for sure. But the one who was in front said, what dead flies? All I saw were the butterfly. To our amazement, and when we looked, there was a butterfly, pretty butterfly, neatly perched on the side of the railing. Madam Speaker, what this is telling us, we have to take time to relish and enjoy the good things in life and be happy for them. Madam Speaker, what this also tells us is you have to be careful of the person who always showing you dead flies. The people who consistently tell you about all the bad and all the evil and all the things. Oh, yes. If the last one didn't hear nothing, he might have seen the butterfly and not the flies. Madam Speaker, I am told that I give more parables than Jesus. But this is how we become relatable. This is how the average man understands and put things into context. Madam Speaker, I said a mouthful. But today I can stand before my Montserrat people, my people, and feel proud of the accomplishments that we have been able to achieve as a ministry and of course as a government, but also to be equally excited for the projects that we have set out to come next year. Madam Speaker, it was Napoleon, the French military and political leader, who wrote, "The laws that govern circumstances are abolished when new circumstances come into play." In order to plan, in order to strategize, in order to develop a nation, we must have a clear understanding of our circumstances. We must accept that nothing is certain and no strategy is fixed. We must remain fluid, being cognizant that everything changes. Madam Speaker, in closing, over the last year, the ministry has had to change our approaches, experiment with new ideas, accelerate our plans in able to achieve all that was mentioned here today. Madam Speaker, the famous cliche saying, time waits for no man. If it's the only thing that each man have that's equal, it's the amount of time they get in any one day. As a government, as a ministry, as your minister, we are going to make it work. Together we can, and together we will. I thank you. Amen.
I recognize the Honorable Premier.
Madam Speaker, I thank you. I feel like staying on. Madam Speaker, I rise to move a motion for the temporary adjournment of this Honourable House for lunch until 1:30.
I recognize the Deputy Premier.
Madam Speaker, I would like to second the motion for the adjournment of this Honourable House until 1:30.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honourable House stands adjourned for lunch until 1:30. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed nay. And the ayes have it. We'll adjourn until 1:30 for lunch.